I was looking at the video.
Okay.
That's good.
Are we good?
Yes.
I think we're good.
Want to do your intro first or want me to do my intro first?
I can go first because I'm a little embarrassed.
Why?
Because it's weird. Hey YouTube, hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lay. For those of you who are new, welcome. I have a special guest today. My bestie, you've probably seen her in some of my vlogs. This is Morgan. I will have a link to her channel right here and down in the description bar so you will not miss it. So today we're going to be doing a mukbang. I don't really know how to say that, but I believe that's how you pronounce it. We're going to have a mukbang with Brunch. We are mamas on the go, and this is probably like the only time of the day that we can get a meal in and not have to worry about daddies asking us what we're going to do later. So to see the questions and all the tea that we're going to be talking about today, just make sure that you stay tuned.
We are doing a mukbang video today, and our mukbang is the truth about motherhood mukbang, brunch style. So we have our bellinis. We have our fruit salad. We have waffles.
Yum.
We have sausage. If I can reach. Oh, it's so far. And we're going to put this back here now. And then we also have some eggs.
Which is all for her.
For me because she's weird and doesn't eat eggs. So, first thing first, we're going to make our plate because we're starving now. Because it took us forever to get the setup together. And now we're ready to eat. So, 1 second. So, just for those who are on Lay's channel and don't know me, and those who are on my channel and don't know Lay, we are both mothers. I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old son, Mason and Caleb. Lay.
I have 3, so I one up her. I have a 7-year-old Willow. I have a 4-year-old Dilly. And if you are a part of my channel, then you all are very familiar with my 1-year-old Callie, who is technically, for all those moms, she's 18 months. I hate when people ask me, like, what's the difference in the numbers?
Yeah, because Callie and Caleb are 6 months apart.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Callie and Caleb are exactly 6 months apart.
Both
to the
23rd,
day.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Callie and Mason are 9 months apart.
I feel like I need a little bit more champagne on mine.
See, we talk about the kids and then we add champagne.
So, what inspired us to do this video is that Lay and I have made a pact that we are going to get together once a month, kid-free, to give ourselves a mommy break, to just be women without worrying about the men or
And
the
unfortunately,
children.
that never happens.
Never happens. We probably have done it twice. This would be maybe the third. Is the third or the second
This
time?
is the second time since we said that.
So, in what, 4 months?
Yeah.
So clearly we're not following through on that. But when we do get together, when we get together to take a break from motherhood and from men, and then we end up talking about motherhood.
And men.
And the men. So we were like, we were supposed to get together anyway. We have been planning this. We're like, we might as well do a mukbang and talk about all the things that we would normally talk about when we're together.
Side note, her waffles, oh my God.
They're the shit.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good.
I tooted my own horn right there.
It's okay. No judgment. I'll toot it with you.
Mm-hmm.
We both beep beep. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I'm a little talented.
Oh my God.
That's how you keep them.
That's why I'm still her friend. We'll never break up. So you want to tell everyone how long we've been friends?
Over 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we met, when did we meet? In 7th grade or 8th grade?
It was 7th grade.
We met in 7th grade by a mutual friend who knew both of us. And what happened is we have the same birthday.
Yeah.
So that friend was like, oh my God, you have the same birthday.
Come meet her.
Come meet each other. You know, shit that kids do. And they think it's cool. So, and then everybody assumed that we looked alike because we both were skinny with long hair and...
Yeah, see, I wasn't lying. I was skinny.
I thought we were the same complexion, but we really
We're not.
weren't. I'm so much darker than her.
We have similar personality traits, but I think like because of the day, like
I feel
there
like
are some
switched.
things we're completely opposite.
I feel like we switched personalities. I feel like back before motherhood,
she was way more aggressive than I was.
I was super aggressive. Like, I was ready for it all the time. On site was like my go-to word.
Like, I was the one that had to be like, hold on, let's think about this. Is it worth it?
Right. And now her patience is definitely in her fuse box.
It's the kids. It's their fault. Like, I feel like I had kids and I have no patience. You had kids and you became patient.
With everyone, not just children. Like, with adults. When before, I probably would have just spazzed out and smacked you.
Yeah. Whereas me, now I have to text her before I spaz out and hurt someone. I'm like, it's getting there.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah,
the Omi would have been like, you ready to pull up?
Yeah, I text her, I'm like, it's going there. What do I do? And then, like, if she doesn't text me back in like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, everybody's getting it. It must be okay.
Yeah. I talk her off the ledge a lot.
Yeah.
So, our conversations are really, I think they help both of us.
They do.
Leigh has obviously been a mom longer than I have. So she's experienced things that I'm currently experiencing.
But I also think that because of your patience, you're able to see things more clearly than I am when it comes to parenting.
And then we have different experiences. So we kind of, between the two of us, have experienced every type of parenting situation you could possibly experience.
Yeah, almost.
We're being raw here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So, for example, for me, I have 2 children, but I am unwed. As you all know, if you are a subscriber to my channel, Jared and I are together. Jared is Mason and Caleb's dad, but we are not married yet. And I don't even know when we plan on getting married, when we feel like it.
It'll happen when it happens.
Yes. So, of course, it's still, even though it's like 2018, damn near 2019, people still kind of turn their nose up at the fact of whether you have children before you're married, which I think is silly. Let me tell y'all why I think this shit is silly. Because being married prior to having children does not guarantee anything. I know people who waited until they were married to have their children and are now divorced.
Still have their children.
And either single parents or co-parenting together. And I know people who have children together and have never been married but have been together for over 20 years. So it doesn't really make a difference. Like, just because it's not like we live in a world where people get married and they take it so seriously that they're never going to divorce. So you could wait to get married to have your children
and still divorce.
You waited. Good for you. And now here we are 10 years later and you're divorced from that person you had children with post-marriage. And I'm still with the person that I had kids with pre-baby. So it doesn't really make a difference. So
I think it varies from person to person.
Oh, really does.
Definitely.
It's like, Leigh is currently married.
Yes.
How long have you guys been married now?
We've been married it'll be 3 years in March. So I've been married to my husband for, like I said, 3 years in March. We've been together it'll be 4 years. We got together right after my second child's turned 1. So my first 2 do not belong to him.
I didn't know that she was only 1.
She had just turned 1 in February. Him and I got together in March.
Time goes by so fast.
It does.
That's crazy.
So we would have been together in a romantic relationship for 4 years. But like I said, I had 2 kids prior to him, which is a good example of the whole, you have kids and y'all be together. With Dylan's father, Willow's father is deceased. Dylan's father is still around, but we were dealing with each other for about 8 years. Had Dylan, and everything went south after that. So
then I tell you, we basically experienced every type of situation between the 2 of us.
So we've had death, we've had separation after a child, and
married then children,
married and
unmarried with children.
So we've experienced quite a bit, and it wasn't always easy. But so I do have a perspective on the whole co-parenting thing, because that's not only am I married with children, but my husband also has been through a divorce, so he has a child outside of our relationship.
So between the 2 of you, you all have 4 kids.
Yes, between the 2 of us, we have 4 kids. It's a lot of work. Well, I think what also makes it a little more is that you have those outside people. Like, I have Dylan's dad who, wants to have his input. Dale has his ex who wants to have her input. And I think sometimes that makes things a little more difficult in the beginning, because, I see a lot of, I watch Jada Pinkett and Will Smith.
Red Table Talk?
Yes, love it. And
if you have not watched the episode of Red Table Talk with Will Smith,
you have to.
By the time we post this, it'll be 2 episodes. It was a 2-part segment. watch both of them. It's amazing. And if you're in a relationship, even if you're not in a relationship, you should watch it because it can help you with your next relationship if you're looking to venture into it.
It really can. They give a lot of good tips.
They drop some gems, seriously.
Yeah, they really do.
Jared and I have already started implementing their. The funny part
is, I literally had to do it this morning.
I am Jada and he is Will. I am like, and he's like talking calmly while I'm yelling and saying all type of curse words.
Yeah. See, I'm the one that's like that, and then Dale is the calmer one.
Yeah.
Although he tries to say that he's not sensitive, but he is. He gets in his feelings.
All of them.
He's like, "Oh, you're so in your feelings." So are you? You're just acting different.
Every man is sensitive.
No. But yeah. So you have to check that out because it really does help with a lot of things. But one of the things that stood out to me was Jada and her stepson's mother.
That was the very first episode of the Red Table Talk.
That was a really good one, and that really showed like how it can be. But everyone should know that nothing happens overnight. So
and you know what? That's happening a lot right now because you have her, Cherie. That's the ex-wife, Will Smith's first wife, and his oldest son's mom. So you have Cherie and Jada, who on the very first episode of Red Table Talk talked about, how it was a lot of tension between the two of them. That Will kind of had to play referee in the beginning, but then they finally had like a mutual understanding, and now they're semi-friends, I guess you can call them. And then I don't particularly support this.
Alicia Keys.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I know.
I have to think about homewreckers, so Lay knows how I feel. I think that it's absolutely disgusting, of course, for a man to step out on his relationship, but I think it's equally as disgusting for a woman to become involved with a man that she knows is in a relationship.
Yes.
There's a huge thing about that. I was in a
and
previous relationship
she was completely
where there was a lot of that. Yeah, and I did not support that at all. So if you're a side chick, go jump off a bridge right now. Yes, I said that. I did it. Go right now. Jump. But
shouldn't be here.
Yeah. So I mean, truthfully, you don't really know what happened, but the rumors say that he was still with his wife.
And his wife said she had no idea.
Yeah, when him and Alicia Keys started fooling around. So I don't support that. But if it works for them now, then good for them. But yeah, so I think the wife just came out, or they all collabed on a book called Blended Families.
Oh, they just supported it.
Okay, called Blended Families. I think they even had a song, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so, which is stupid.
Yeah, so about blended families. And I think that's wonderful, though. Like, I mean, because it's happening now, so you do have to move forward, especially for the sake of the children. Kids. So I think it's wonderful that they've been able to come to some type of understanding and coexist. And then I was on the car the other day.
So I'm in the beginning stages. We're still working on it.
And you know who else? Neo. I didn't realize Neo had a wife prior to the one that he's with now.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so she just wrote a book. It's called Keep It Classy. They were talking about it on the radio, and her book is talking about the same thing: how to get over, that relationship ending and accepting this new person into your family, especially when there's children involved.
Yeah.
Because now that person's going to be in your children's life. So I have not experienced that because Jared and I are still together. Hopefully, we will be forever, God willing. But
I'm experiencing it.
Yes, I know Lay has experienced that,
and we're still working on it. It's not easy. Because every parent wants.
I'm actually proud of your growth because I remember how it was in the beginning, and I used to try to talk you off the ledge.
I'm still at that corner sometimes.
Yes, because even if you and the other woman do not see, let me talk like I'm living it, but I'm still just saying.
But it's true.
Yeah, even if you all do not
see eye to eye
for the sake to keep the peace, because no matter what, neither one of you is going anywhere.
Yeah,
you're both going to be there forever.
And so the kids are siblings.
Yes, just make it work. Figure it out because you're both there to stay. The children are going to be around. I mean, you want the children.
And it's not fair to the kids for you to be like, oh, well, I don't like her. She doesn't like me, so let's just stay away from each other. But then the kids stay away from each other. And that's.
I mean, it makes it harder on him.
It does. It makes it harder on him. I don't really have that problem as far as Dylan goes, because it's the opposite. So I deal with it on one side with the woman being the woman and the other child, and then I also deal with being the mother of the child and having to deal with my ex.
Has she ever met any of her dad's? We don't have to say his name.
Oh, we don't have to say his name. If he watches this, he'll know who I'm talking about.
You know who you are.
But not that I know of. Dylan is, she's still young enough where she runs her mouth by accident, and she hasn't said anything. She's told me about the guys, but nothing about
like his friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember like years ago, the only child you had was Willow, and she was a baby, and I had that dinner at my house with all my girlfriends, and I cooked you guys a meal. Let me play hostess. I've been doing this for
She's really good
ever.
I'm not. I hate.
So, and I remember we were having, Leandra at the time was the only one of us who had a child. All the rest of us were still living that, bachelorette
living the good life.
And actually, though, at the time I was in a relationship, I think. Maybe, who knows? That relationship was so horrible and toxic. But it was so terrible, oh my gosh. But,
they don't listen to me.
Yes. I was so stupid back then. You can be stupid when you're in your teens and early 20s, though. But when we had, somehow, children came up, and I think it was because Leandra had just had Willow. So it was like the first baby for all of us. So we started talking about all of that. And we were talking about, because a lot of my friends come from parents who have divorced and then remarried or ventured into new relationships. And I have always been I did not want to date anyone who had children, because I could just even being a teenager, see, not from my family, because thankfully my parents are still together, 32 years strong. Go mom and dad. So, but I could see other people, the drama. And I was like, I'm not dealing with no baby mama drama. And so people ask me, and you never asked me, but I think, who was it? One of my girlfriends asked me, now that you're on the other end, you have 2 kids, you're with Garrett, but I mean,
let's say hypothetically,
let's say something happens. You would want to find someone else. You wouldn't just be alone for the rest of your life. Right. So it would have to be someone who's willing to accept children. So now, do you understand?
Was that on Twitter or something? Because I feel like I saw this conversation.
Oh, it might have been me and Tiffany. I don't remember. The answer is no. So I still would want, I would want someone new, because I'm young and I don't want to be alone forever. But I would want that person to be someone who wants to be with someone, or is okay being with someone who already has children and who would love my children, but they can have no kids. So I applaud you and everybody else out there who can do it. Still can't do it. Even though I am a parent now, you come over here and love my kids, but I don't want to love nobody else's kids. I can't. I'm still not doing it. I'm not doing it. And just even seeing how over the years that your situation has.
Because you literally have to love the kid as if you birthed it yourself.
Yeah, and you have to. And I feel like like you said, it's like we've done I've changed since I became a mom. I went from this
rah.
Yeah,
she was very raw.
Yes, person to now I'm very, take a step back, reevaluate the situation, think about it. It doesn't have to escalate to that. And I don't
Jared, want if you watch this, you got her at a good time. It was a lot worse before.
He would say differently. But I don't want to have to.
None. We have some stories.
Yeah, I don't want to have to. I don't have to deal with
what I deal with
the drama. Yeah, I don't want to have to do that. And I know I'm not.
I hope that doesn't come off wrong.
But yeah, so that's the other thing too. So you, like you said, you've been through this. How long did you wait, or do? Well, okay. So technically, even though her and Dale have been together 4 years, they knew each other prior.
Yeah.
So
he went to school with us.
We've known him since middle school. So that situation might be a little different because you already knew who knew him, but
kind of, because the part about it is you're a different person when you're absolutely. 14 than when you're 25.
Oh, we're a different person we're 30. At 30 than you are at, I feel like, 27.
Yeah.
Completely different.
You're a completely different person.
But how long did you wait before you introduced him to the girls?
Honestly, the first night Dale and I went out, Willow came downstairs to see who was taking mommy out.
Really?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I brought him to their domain, area where they were comfortable. The only one that really had to get adjusted to him was Willow, because she was old enough to realize that, hey, there wasn't someone here and now there is. And lucky for me, my kids were young enough to where they're growing up with him now. Like at this point, if I ask Willow about it, she doesn't remember him not being there. She doesn't remember a time without him. Now, for those of you who don't know, Willow is my oldest, and Willow's father is deceased. He died when I was 6 months pregnant, so she never got to meet him. So for the beginning of her life, she didn't know what it was like to have a dad. And I remember she was at Morgan's mom actually watches kids, and she used to watch Willow for me. And I remember your mom telling me the kids were doing something for Father's Day, and Willow told her that she doesn't have a dad.
I always wonder about that. Like in school, because I remember when we were in school,
Kids
you would do things, you would create things on Mother's Day, on Father's Day. I always wonder kids who don't have moms or don't have a dad in their lives for whatever reason.
She used to do it for my dad.
What do they do? Yeah.
She would do it for my dad or my brother. Like, she would always say, I don't have a dad, but I have a Poppy and an Uncle Nico. She calls my dad Poppy, so she would say she does it for her Poppy and her Uncle Nico. But at her age now that she's 7, she doesn't really remember that much of that.
So she doesn't really remember Dale not being there.
Yeah, she doesn't remember Dale not being there. I thought that was a good timing because Dylan, of course, was only a year, so.
And she calls Dale dad, right?
Yeah, she calls him dad. She calls both of her dads dad.
Which is why it's important. No, I mean Willow.
Yeah, Willow calls him dad.
It's important to find someone who is willing to accept your children as their own.
Yeah. Not saying that it was easy, but.
Nothing about motherhood or parenthood or relationships is easy.
Once you have a child, you really stop thinking about yourself.
Once women have children, they stop thinking about themselves. I say all the time, a woman becomes pregnant and instantly becomes a mother.
Yeah.
You find out, I found out I was pregnant with Mason when I was only 5 weeks pregnant. At 5 weeks, he's like that big, not showing at all.
Felt like mommy. Immediately
I became a mother. Men do not become fathers the moment that a child is born. Not even, especially not when they find out that they're having a baby, but and then once the child is born, they do not automatically become fathers. It is a process. And I should say this, so if there's some men watching this, not all men, okay? Majority though.
Yeah.
Do not immediately tap into their fatherly instincts and dad life as women do. And the truth is, not all women, majority of women do.
Yeah, not all of them do.
But not all of them do. I know some women who said their baby came out handed to me. They handed the baby to them and they felt nothing.
That's how I felt about Dylan.
Yeah, you did tell me that. One of my mom's other clients, I remember she used to say that too. And she thought something was wrong. Like, why don't I have that rush of emotion like everyone's always talking about? And it's like, you have people, like, for me, I became like so engulfed in motherhood. Like, I had this like obsession with being this perfect mom. Like, I wanted to be the best mom in the world for my child, because at the time it was just Mason. And in doing that, I think I've been a pretty good mom to both Mason and Caleb. But I've also, which I think a lot of moms do, neglect
yourself.
I neglected myself because I was so worried about being the best mom for them that I forgot that I also have to be the best person for myself. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I battle with.
And it's so easy to fall into that.
It is, which then also puts a lot of strain. That's one of the things that, like I said, where say babies do not pull people closer together. It can definitely pull you further apart, because that puts a lot of strain on the relationship.
Because I feel like the baby pulls a lot from you, and then as the man, I feel like the men don't realize that this baby is sucking all this life out of me, and then you want my attention, so now that's two that I have to give out, and then I'm completely, by the end of the day, I literally feel like I'm the first one up and the last one to go to bed. I've completely neglected myself. Like, my hair is starting to break off in the middle because I wore it in buns so much over the summer.
This is, my hair being out right now is the first time my hair has been on probably a month and a half.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's insane. And that's how it was, like, before we had Mason, let me tell you, me and Jared were living life, okay? We had fun all the time. And then once Mason came, that quickly changed, because I'm up a million times a night breastfeeding, and then up during the day taking care of the house. So, I mean, I can be 100% honest, Jared was neglected, but so was I. All of my attention was going to Mason and keeping our house in order.
Yeah.
Which then, of course, puts the strain on the relationship, because the man feels neglected and that his needs and wants aren't being met. So then it causes tension and friction and arguments.
When you think about it, you really don't think about what they need in that moment, because it's like, how, like, you almost feel like they're being selfish, because it's like, how can you want my attention? I just had your baby. I'm up all night with the baby, and now you want some mommy daddy time? No, sir. Like half the time, like for me, I had to like take a step back because I would be like, especially like with my husband, I had to be like, you know what, that is a basic need for men. And I had to remember like, okay, what have you been doing all this time? Taking care of the baby, barely taking care of yourself, trying to keep the household together. And then I also had 2 kids prior, so a lot of my attention was going towards them, that I did completely neglect my husband as well.
It's easy. People who don't have children don't understand it.
Yeah.
I see women, I'm not even gonna call them women, girls, tweet all the time who have never experienced motherhood. Oh, it's, you know, you women need to stop neglecting your husbands. It's so easy to say when you've never experienced it and don't understand it. I mean, I can admit, before I became a mom, I had my ideas of what motherhood was like and how situations should be.
Oh, and I used to tell her, okay. Like, her mother used to be worried when she was pregnant, like, oh, she's weighing over her head. I'm like, he will let her know what it's going to be like. Like, she's not in control, and she'll learn that. And she did.
So it's like, it's not even just, okay, once the baby's asleep, now satisfy your husband, roll on top of him, and give him what he needs. No, because at the same time, that man doesn't want someone rolling over top of them with their hair all over their head, a big t-shirt on that has spit up and poo. Like, he wants you to look somewhat,
you're not cute right now.
Yeah. Like, so you have to then go do it.
Like, did you brush your teeth today?
Right.
Did I?
So it's like you still have to then prep to present yourself, you know, to this man, so you even look a little bit, you know, like a seductress or whatever.
Otherwise, I'm gonna look at you sideways. Yeah, like, what do you think you're doing?
I mean, some men might be okay with it, but I know my man is there. He don't want no bush still looking for that.
And half the time after the baby, you go down, you're like, oh goodness, I need to call landscaping. I gotta get landscaping over here. Like, this is not a job for just me.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not just so simple where it's just like, well, you guys are in the same bed, so then go ahead and
just do it.
Just do it. It's like you then have to go prepare yourself, you know, to do it.
And then you want to enjoy it too. You don't want to just like roll over, because like I kind of had that experience with Callie, where it was like towards the end of my pregnancy. I know they say that you can, if you're under 13, if you're this is PG-13, I'm sorry, but up until you give birth, you can have sex. But sex was painful for me.
Was it?
It was very painful. Like, it's not like I didn't want to. I wanted to, but it started, I don't know if it was because of her position, but it used to hurt. Like, to the point where I'd be like, you know, the Dave Chappelle, wrap it up. I used to be like, come on, please. Like, it hurt so bad, and I love sex. But at that point, I did not want him touching me. But I think it was because of the pregnancy. Like, I couldn't.
Yeah, you were so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was so uncomfortable.
That's how I felt towards the end of Caleb's pregnancy. Like, I was so ready for Caleb to come out because his pregnancy was just so
miserable.
Yeah. Jared, like, I remember the day before Caleb was born, Jared was like, come on, let's just go have sex. And I was so irritated with him. Do I look like I want your penis inside of you right now? Is that the vibe I'm giving you? Because no. I was so irritated.
Kind of like that picture where you're smiling, you're like,
it was that day. It was that day.
It looked like she was pushing a smile out. She was like,
yeah, I was so irritated. Because by that point I was still uncomfortable.
And if you've never been pregnant before, by the time you get to that, I know it looks all peaches and cream on Instagram, but towards the end, it is not like that. It's uncomfortable.
That all the time. I feel like I give this false perception of what motherhood is like because people who do have kids, those who do have kids and those who don't always will like DM me or comment about how well it seems as though I balance it all. I'm just like, honey,
hell, I do it.
This is a picture.
I'm like, look at her. She is doing the thing.
This is a picture. First of all, you want to know how many flicks were taken before we got this one shot that we could use. And once this was done, it was just like, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? We were in here and I was cleaning up and I was vacuuming. So the other day, I think it was like 2 days ago, we were in here and I was vacuuming and I looked a hot mess. I had on sweatpants. I had on a big one of yours, like old t-shirts, so it was like an oversized t-shirt. I had just finished feeding Caleb and he had like spilled some of it on me. And my hair was just in a lopsided bun thing. I don't even really know what it was doing.
That's the one where you touch it in the middle and it's like...
Yeah. So I was just vacuuming, and then Mason went to go get his vacuum to help me vacuum. And...
Which I think is so cute.
No, it wasn't cute. No, it wasn't.
The fact that he wants to vacuum.
Okay. Yeah, adorable. Let's see when he's 16 if he wants to vacuum.
Yeah, that's true.
He's taking his vacuum and ramming it into the front of my vacuum because he's a boy, and this is what boys do. You want a boy so bad? This is what life is like with boys, okay?
I do. I still want a boy.
And he's ramming it into my vacuum, which is, you know, making my vacuuming process extended. And I'm getting so irritated. And Jared's like, oh, this is so funny. Let me get this is the stuff you capture. I'm like, capture? Do you see what that looks like? No, this is what you need to post so people can see that this is what it's really like, and that, you know, the house is a mess sometimes, and this is what it's like when you're trying to clean, and this is how you look on a normal... What?
No.
No, I don't want people to see this. He's like, this is what people like to see. This is the raw. Let's do raw a different day. At least when my hair is gone. We're not doing raw today.
It needs to be censored raw.
Yeah. But I do. I give this false perception that...
See, I told you I need another one.
Motherhood is this, like, all the time, wonderful, amazing,
so
fulfilling,
we wake up, we're
okay. Exactly. It's just like, oh, I live for my kids. I live to
have
change
time for me. I have time for you.
Yeah, it's like
you get some time. You get some time. Everybody gets
time. And
that's
so not the case whatsoever. Like, it's amazing. Wouldn't change it for the world. Do I have my times where I will admit, I go, damn, sometimes I wonder if I really should have done that. Absolutely. And if any mom tells you that they've never had that thought, they're like, yeah. I
had that thought this morning.
They're lying. They are lying, because at some point every mother thinks, damn,
go away.
Yeah.
Go away. I've even told my kids this, and like, I'm sorry. I'll look at them and be like, just go away. Go figure it out yourself. Go away.
So your kids are old enough though. Will's what, 8?
Yeah, but Callie gets in her feelings. I'm like, go away. Ah. Yeah, and I'm still breastfeeding, unfortunately. I'm trying to get her off, but she won't.
I can't believe she won't take anything, not even a cup.
Callie will go without everything.
So she's never had juice?
She drinks juice. She drinks juice and water. And I can give her milk in the cup. But it's not the same. She's like, oh, I'm sleepy. Whip her out.
Yeah. Oh, so when I'm sleepy, I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that anymore. Like, it's like when she's eating like dinner and stuff because her sisters are there, it's like, okay, I'll eat. We're good. But then if she starts the eye rubbing, she's like, all right, Mom. Whip her out. Let's get this going.
Jeez.
Even in public, like now she says titty, and she'd be like titty, mommy, titty.
I'm sure that makes the no breastfeeding in public people cringe.
Yeah, and then also she also does she calls it juice, so maybe that'll make them feel a little bit better, because instead of her saying milk, she's like juice. I want juice.
Oh, Callie.
And like, it's mommy juice. It's not the type of juice you think. But for those of you who don't like breastfeeding in public, you can go screw yourself, because when my kid wants it, she gets it. And I think a lot of those people haven't experienced it. Because when I was like 18, 19, and I would see women out breastfeeding, even like I would never want them to go to the bathroom, because I thought that was disgusting.
See, it never bothered me.
But I used to be like, why are you doing that right there? Like,
never
can you find a place that's private? That I'm guilty of that.
I feel like people sexualize it, and why are you sexualizing a baby? Anything that involves a child.
It's a boob. I'm like, do you say that when you go to the zoo and you see the elephant baby sucking out of the tip? And hers is just hanging all out.
I'll ask you this, because you've experienced both of these. Would you say, and I have an opinion about it, but I want to see your opinion before I tell you what mine is. Have you experienced the difference between being a single mom, so prior to you and Dale getting together, and being a mom with a partner? Do you think one was easier than the other?
Honestly, 100%. It was a lot easier to do it by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I had a friendly debate, because I'm not confrontational anymore, with someone the other day.
No, let's rephrase that. You're still confrontational, it's just a little diluted.
A friendly debate with someone the other day who was a single mother, and she was proclaiming that single moms have it so much harder than moms who are with their partner.
I disagree.
And I disagreed. I said, first of all, motherhood's hard as fuck for everybody.
Yes.
It's just hard. And I feel as though people who are single moms, because you don't live that other life, you assume that woman, because she's with her partner, it's split down the middle, 50-50, all responsibilities. And it's not. Some times, that woke him up. Cheers here, by the way. You heard him? Mm-hmm. That woke him up. We hear you in there. It's not. So sometimes it is.
If anything, I would think that it's harder with a partner
because you still have to. You're still doing majority of the work, but then you still have to
take in their
opinion. Yes.
Which is whereas like when I was by myself, whatever I wanted to do, that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. There's no, hey, what do you think of this, or what do you? And then when they get into school, it's also like with the kids, sometimes like when Dale's at work and they have stuff, it's easier. Whereas when it's after hours, it's like, hey, do you want to go to this? Can we work this into the schedule? Like you have to work with the other person. Whereas when I was a single mom and it was just me and Willow, I made all the decisions. Anything that I wanted or needed to do, like you said, being a mother is hard across the board. It doesn't matter if you're with your partner or without the partner. It's hard across the board because usually mommies do everything.
And it's been like that since the dawn of time. Yeah. Like I've spoken to, mothers generations, ahead of us. And they say the same thing, that women take on majority of the responsibility when it comes to the children. And that's just the way it is. Is that something that should be broken? Absolutely. But
is it? Probably not anytime soon.
Will it be? Not anytime soon. Should it be?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But it's like so it makes it.
Dale complains. He's like, "Well, why do you do everything?" Like I just had my husband go do the groceries. He's probably texted me 10 times already. Like this, that, and the other. Like, is it really that hard? I made a list for you.
I would never have to do the groceries.
And see, but Dale was like, "Oh, you treat me like a kid. You don't let me go grocery shopping."
Truth be told, women, the man is like another child.
He is. It's like having a third baby.
Are you ready for a refill?
I am so ready for a refill.
You want more peach or you want
orange? The peach is really good.
Yeah. So I made a Bellini. That's not a real Bellini, but I got peach juice. So I'm calling it a Bellini. The ghetto, I know.
I tell my kids this is grown-up juice. Don't touch the mommy cup.
But it is delicious. And it tastes like a Bellini, so.
It does, and it's actually really good. And typically I don't like champagne because once when I was 22, I crushed a whole bottle and it made me sick.
Ooh. Okay. Look at that. That's perfect. Look at that.
It's nice. I'm going to drink it anyway, so.
And this is what I used to do for a living. And now I don't remember how to pour champagne in a glass. You know what I also find annoying? You probably saw me tweet about this because I go on my Twitter rants.
Yeah.
I'm famous for Twitter rants. But when people make comments about, actually Tiffany and I were talking about this. Hey Tiff, if you're watching this, the other day on Twitter, because she says she gets tired of people. Tiffany is another childhood friend of mine who I've known since birth. She gets tired of people asking her, "Oh my God, when are you gonna have children? Are you gonna just wait till you're old?" Because we've now hit 30, so everyone assumes what that means.
Everyone's come on.
Yeah, and she thinks that's irritating, and I think that's rude as hell because you should never ask a woman, especially a woman who does not have kids, but any woman in general, why they don't have kids or when they plan to have kids, because you never know why that woman does not have children.
It could be a medical reason.
Yeah, you never know what the reason is, so you should just
stay out of it.
But I also, what I saw on the flip side of that, which I think is rude, is people always, especially after I had Caleb, were just like, "Oh God, I hope you guys don't have any more kids."
Oh my God, I hate that.
Why? I mean, after I waited a while to announce that I was pregnant with Caleb.
Yes.
But when I announced I was pregnant with Caleb, the haters.
I actually found out through Twitter. I was very upset about this.
All of you did. No one knew.
I was you might have to censor this. I was like, you bitch.
Yeah.
She got mad at me when I was pregnant with Callie and didn't tell her.
No, I got mad at you pregnant with Callie because I knew you were pregnant and I asked you and you told me no.
I wasn't ready to say anything.
But you lied. See, I didn't lie. I just withheld information.
I still had to find out with everybody else.
That was the difference because I knew by that point I had already had a baby, so I knew
your Sam, don't get upset. I knew Sam and them there, but I was like, I have to find out through Twitter. I was like, excuse me, man.
All of you guys did, and it wasn't Twitter, it was Instagram.
Whatever. She was just at my baby shower, and I was like,
pregnant. Had no idea.
You were pregnant then?
I hid it so well. I put up a picture. Sam and I went to see the weekend because we had already bought these tickets because, like Mason, Caleb was a surprise too. None of our children were planned. And I don't know.
Since I found out about her baby through Instagram.
Okay, first of all, everyone did because
not your sister and them.
Okay,
so you told somebody.
Yes,
because you were showing.
I was.
I think I had seen you, and I was like, bitch, I just saw you.
I had it so well, I'm telling you. So we went to see the weekend, and I wore
a t-shirt dress,
And if you would have seen me in person, you would have known I was pregnant. But in the photo, no one could tell. I mean, Samantha and I took that photo.
The angles.
We took that photo probably 50 times. I
Angles.
was like, can you see it? Can you tell? She's like, yeah, do it again. I was like, can you tell? Can you? No? Okay, yeah. We found like the perfect shot so you couldn't tell. Actually, even on, before that picture, there was an Easter. It was an Easter picture. Or was it Mother's Day? I can't remember. And I have on this pink dress.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day.
In my hand.
Through the front, and then you had Mason too.
Yeah.
So having Mason sit right here, so you couldn't tell.
It was like
dead on, you couldn't tell.
I did it so well. But when I finally did announce it, let me tell you, people were just, majority of people will of course congratulate you, but then you have those people who are just rude. And we're just like, is this a joke? You're having another baby again? So soon? Yes! Like, excuse me, yes. We like to have sex.
Oh,
and sometimes it results in us having children.
I got it for Callie. Like, you already have 2 kids. I'm like, well, I'm married now. My husband and I want a baby together.
And here's my thing. If Jared and I decided to have 50 fucking kids,
it's our prerogative.
If I'm not asking you for anything, why care? And we take care of our children just fine. Why they don't have kids, or why they had another kid, or please don't have any more. Which you don't have any more. How about that?
Honestly, I really think that that's why I had Callie, because everyone's like, oh, you guys don't need kids. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, like,
boom, and you're going to love it. I think when it comes to like, and I learned this through having kids, when you have kids, talking to if you don't have kids, even if you don't, because even though I do, the way I do things with my kids and the way someone else does things with their kids, I never put my input on how someone else does things with their kids. It's none of my business. If you ask me for my opinion, I can tell you what I would do, but every parent is different. I'm asking people, especially if you don't have kids, don't tell somebody else what they should be doing with their kids, or if they should have kids. Like, it's my body. I'm doing it. You don't have to worry about it. I'm not asking you. Like, I did this without you. I'll have to do it without you. And if you want to, like, help, like, oh, hey, what do you need? Okay. Like, that we can work with.
I didn't have a baby shower for Caleb.
Yeah.
Like, because we were good. Didn't need anybody to give anything. Like, we were good.
You also had a baby, so you didn't really need that much.
And it was another boy.
Yeah, and it was another boy.
Yeah.
So you kind of got lucky.
And I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I make really good fucking money, so I can take care of my kids. So
you see, she's starting to feel it.
So if I want to have, like I said, 50 kids,
then I'll do that.
And that's what's gonna happen.
I think that should be the same.
If I want to stop now and not have any more, then I'm not gonna have any more.
I think that's how it should be with everyone. I hate when people tell me, like,
it is. But
my dad doesn't watch YouTube, but
He'll watch this.
I hate when Andre tells me not to have any more kids. He likes to do things. He likes to say that when Andre's my dad, by the way. When my kids are doing the most and I'm irritated, I'm like, oh my God, pull my hair out. And then that's when my dad likes to throw in, oh, bet you don't want any more. Well, guess what? He told me that when I was giving birth to Willow and it hurt. He was like, oh, it hurts. Bet you won't do that again. Did it twice again.
Was he in the room when you gave birth?
He was in the room because remember, Willow's dad died. So I was by myself. So I wanted him there.
Your mom wasn't in there?
She was there too. It was my first baby, so I was like, please don't leave me.
I can hear my dad in there with my cucaracha.
Daddy was up here and he didn't look.
Still, you can see they pulled his legs so far back where he could see.
Well, my dad was good. I'm like, hey, you're my father. Like, come on. He made me feel better with not having her father there because he was deceased. So like my dad, he was making jokes while I was like literally Willow was coming out and he was joking. Like making jokes.
That was Jared. When Mason was born, he was a fucking punk and was sitting on the couch next to me with his head in the pillow because he couldn't look because it was so gross. And I was like really sick because I was, I don't want to have a girl. So I was in so much pain that I kept throwing up and stuff. But with Caleb, he did so much better because he thought he was a pro because he had just experienced this, so you know what to do. So he was like right there and the action and everything, and he was making jokes, and he wore this t-shirt that had like this naked white girl on it that just was getting so much attention from everybody, and I was so irritated.
It's like not.
Yes, I was so irritated with him that day. But he actually was really good with Caleb as far as a support person. But I couldn't have. No, I'm gonna never have my dad. Dad with Mason, he came. I lived with Mason forever because he just stopped. But he was there, and then he left because they told him
it was going to be a while.
It was going to be a while because like I wasn't contracting or anything. It was just like this whole other thing. So he left, and then he was annoyed because Mason ended up coming, and he went there. So he was like so pissed, like, why did you all tell me to leave? But he would have just been out in the waiting room. And then with Caleb, he wasn't there only because we needed someone to watch Mason because Sam was in the room, Jared was in the room, my mom was in the room, my aunt was there. You know, Miss Tanya was pretty much like my doula, so she was there. So there was no one left
to have someone watch.
There was no one left to watch him except for my dad, and that's one of like my crazy mommy things. Jerry used to call me Momzilla. He doesn't do it anymore because I'm like super, you know, anal about certain things. No one watches my kids.
Same.
Like no one except for my parents. If it's not me and Jared, then it's with my parents. That's where they are right now with my parents. I allow no one else to watch them. Oh, my sister. She's never watched them by herself, though. You ready for this? She's like, oh, Morgan, you're so dramatic about how much of a handful Mason is now. Give him to me for a day. I bet you it won't be that much work.
Bet you change that tone quick, huh?
I said, okay. So she keeps asking me, when am I going to have my day with Mace? Oh, don't worry, it's coming. Mm-hmm. You just wait, Samuela. You just wait.
Look, I'm sorry, Sam. I love you, but...
I said you'll be giving him back in 2 hours.
Yeah. When those tantrums start and they're not cute anymore, the cuteness goes out the window.
They argue now. 30-year age difference between them, and they argue. So you're really arguing with a 2-year-old, Sam? You're 36. Stop.
Yeah.
And she sits there and argues with him.
Babysitting and having a child is completely different.
So different because you can give it back.
Yeah, I used to babysit and be like, oh, this is easy. This is a breeze. Even your kids can be different. Like Willow.
Oh yeah.
Willow would have had me thinking like all these complaints that people that have children make was nonsense. I'm like, oh, lies. She's so easy. Then I had Dylan, and I was like, wait, what's going on?
Dylan gave you a run for your money.
And then Callie was like, oh, but watch me top her.
Yeah, it's like when they say that no 2 pregnancies are the same, it's not just talking about you and another person. It's even yourself.
All of your pregnancies.
Yes. Mason and Caleb, 2 different pregnancies, 2 different labor and deliveries, 2 different children. Like Mason
live in the same house. They're close in age. But
same parents.
Everything is
same
so
upbringing.
Different.
Mason is Jared. He looks like Jared according to everyone.
He does.
Whatever. He looks like Jared. He acts like Jared. He likes to be the center of attention. Jared. He likes the spotlight. Jared. He is just bad as hell. Jared. He is his father. And Caleb is me. 100% antisocial.
If you see some of his facial expressions and you look at like her, they do the same.
Yeah,
like I've seen pictures, and even on like Sam's her sister, Sam's Snap, when I see them, and I'll see Mason, not Mason, sorry, I do this with my kids, Caleb will have like the same like
resting bitch face.
Like he really does.
He is his mother's child. He's so unbothered. He's underwhelmed by everything.
But like, you know, when he was born and I showed him to my mom was like, oh, that's Morgan. And
everyone says that Caleb looks just like me and Mason looks just, they're like, you all literally had yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mason.
That's how I was like, we can't, Jared wants to have another baby. I'm like, we can't have any more. Because then who's the third baby going to look like?
A mixture.
Yeah, right.
Maybe. You never know. Or maybe I look like one of your parents.
Did my parents have a baby?
You look like your grandmother.
Oh my, everyone says that. Oh, because that's the picture of? Yeah, everyone says that, which is why I put up that photo to see. Mason looked at that photo and was like, Mama! I was like, that is not Mama.
When I showed my mom that picture, she was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She said, okay. She said, because whenever we see your parents, it's like, oh, well, maybe she's a mixture.
Because Sam looks just like my mom.
Yes, Sam looks identical to her mother. Mm-hmm. But, and then I feel like Randall, now that he's older, he looks more like your dad.
I said that, I swear I just said to my mom that I see my father in him more as he's getting older. But then I always felt that Randall and I looked alike more than me and Sam.
When Randall smiles, him and Sam favor each other a lot.
Yeah.
Like they have the same smile. But Randall, it used to be like a toss-up. But like as he's becoming a man, it's like, you look like your dad.
He does. If you see younger pictures of my dad too, I'm going to have to show you next time we go to my mom's house. He looks like body frame and everything.
But Sam has always been your mom.
Oh, always. Like if you look at pictures of my mom as a child, Sam's face. Yeah. Like identical. It's crazy.
It is Sam.
Ridiculous how much they look alike. What are your views? I don't remember what you did with the girls with like co-sleeping and stuff, because I co-slept with Mason, and I mean I went even further than co-sleeping. Mason literally, Jared will tell you, slept. Jared, be quiet!
I'm tired of being quiet. I'm not a quiet person.
I co-slept with Mason, but like, I mean, he laid on my chest. Like, that's how he slept. And I didn't co-sleep with Caleb. And Caleb sleeps in his crib, in his nursery, like a breeze. Mm-hmm. And Mason still is a problem. Mm-hmm. Like, he was in my bed last night. It's hell. And Jared's gonna help. Because
he says leave him there.
Yeah, he's like, oh, just let him sleep in here tonight. No, it's every night. It's not just one night. It's every night. It's gotten so bad now. Like, he literally cries at bedtime. Oh. Please, mama, please. Like, please.
Whole time, Caleb's in the bed like, good night, guys.
Hey, you put Caleb in the crib, give him his blankie, give him his little elephant. He rolls over like, I'm out. Mason is just, please, please.
Take me with you.
Please let me sleep in your bed.
I co-slept with, actually I did co-sleep with all of them, but I put Dylan in the crib faster than I did Willow and Callie. Callie, I'm still trying to get her out. Willow, it was hell getting her out of my bed.
Which also puts a strain on the relationship.
Puts strain on the relationship. But Dylan, I highly advise, like, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you have a child and you co-sleep with them, by the time they get to like 6 months, put them in the crib. Because by then I put Dylan in the crib, and I guess that's when they start developing, like, they're able to know and mm-hmm. aware of their surroundings. She is, even now, she's my only child that goes straight to sleep.
Yeah, Caleb slept. He never slept in our bed, but he slept in the bassinet next to the bed until maybe 6 months or 7 months. I can't remember. But Mason, like, he refused to sleep in his bassinet. So then that's when we put him in the bed. But then he didn't even like laying in the bed. He had to be like touching me. So that's how he ended up on my chest. And now it's been hell. I mean, like I said, it makes it very difficult mm-hmm. for mommy and daddy. Just the other night, Jared and I were like right there, you know.
Yeah, nice.
And then all of a sudden we hear the door go, come on. Like, really?
And they don't care. I've done it on the floor and, like, you know, it's getting good. Almost there. And you see a little head like, mama. Get off me. Go to sleep, child.
It's just, no.
And then not only that, the whole time I'm trying to get her to go back to sleep so I can finish what I was doing. And she's rubbing in my hair, touching my face. Like, go to sleep. Go to sleep. Mama. Mama.
It does. It ruins it. It takes away. There's no more just...
Whereas with Dylan, I was like, you in the mood? Go to sleep, baby.
That's how it is with Caleb. A whole nother... It's this... I swear, I wish Mason was on a crib. Like, I mean, he never slept in a crib. So,
but he'd be locked in there.
Yeah, but he'd be locked. He couldn't get out. So he's in that toddler bed, so he can just get out of it, open the door, and then you hear little feet running across to our room, and then you hear the door creak. And then he, like, peeks in.
Yeah, when they co-sleep all the way until they're, like, old enough to, like, come in.
He co-slept until he was 15 months.
They continue to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's how, like, I was pregnant with Dylan, and Willow was still creeping in my bed. Mm-mm. I would get up in the middle of the night and be like, I would pick her up, take her back to her bed. But all of that puts a strain on you as a mother because you're tired. Mm-hmm. When your sleep is constantly broken, you're always tired. And I think that was part of the reason why with Dylan, I was like, hey, you gotta go because I'm sleepy. And then even with Dylan in the room, Willow would still leave her and come in my room.
Yeah. I tried that. I'm like, don't you want to sleep in your room with Caleb?
No. They don't care. No.
And it's like you're uncomfortable because you're in the bed with not three of you in one bed. So I mean, I don't know how Jared does it. Jared just sleep fine. I can't. I'll wake up multiple times and like
you don't
readjust.
Want to like roll over the kid or yeah, I do that too. Like I move Callie from each side because like there's been times where like I've gotten up, and Dale's elbow is like right here, and it's like it's just gonna take a second for you to crush your skull. So you just move her, and I don't think they really. Once they're asleep, they're asleep. Like, that's it. I feel like that's how it was with Dale. Like, even when Callie would wake up crying, she would have to be, like, screaming bloody murder for him to wake up. And even then, he's like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, this has been happening for, like, 30 minutes now. And you're just now realizing that there's a problem.
What would be your advice, if you had to give any, that you would give to, like, another mother or a new mother, whether it's regarding co-parenting, blended families, motherhood in general?
motherhood in general is, for everything, blended families, you have to put your child first and foremost, because when it comes to blended families, because I feel like with motherhood it's a little different. With blended families, you have to put the child's best interest, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. A lot of the times I write things down a lot, so I would write down what's most important. What are the pros and cons of me going down this route? Like, if I go down this way, how does that affect my child? Because at the end of the day, you have to think of stuff like that. Like, sometimes it's like biting a bullet. You like, I really don't like this person, but because of my child, I have to get along with them. Yeah. And you know, because when you're younger, it's so easy to be like, oh, F you, like, you know, forget you. It's easy to get like that. But when you're co-parenting, you're going to be in each other's lives, so you might as well get over it.
And not for 18 years. I hate when people say that. You're going to be in each other's lives forever. Because there's going to be graduations, there's going to be high school graduation, college graduation. There's going to be weddings, grandchildren. Yeah. You're going to be together forever. Or attached in some way forever, not just for 18 years.
Yeah, so you do have to at least try, and that's not always the easiest thing to do, but like what I tend to do is I like to think of my child first. I'm like, okay, well, this benefits this baby, this benefits this child. And even with co-parenting like that, and I promise you that is not something that is easy to do. A lot of times as women, you want to be petty because you feel like you have the
and what upper hand. What do I always tell you?
Don't do that.
Don't be petty. Don't. I think it's tacky, and
it doesn't benefit the child at all.
To badmouth a father or a mother
that I don't
to
do.
A child.
I never badmouth my ex to my child.
Withhold one of the parents from the child. You shouldn't do that, because even if you feel that person isn't a good parent for whatever reason,
your child still loves them.
Yeah, your child still has love for them, and that child will form their own opinion of who that person is with time. So you shouldn't implant that in their mind.
If they are a bad person, and they've been a bad person all the way up until this point, they will continue to be a bad person, and your child will learn that. Like, I mean, I used to think that my parents were angels, and as I've gotten older, I noticed, like, okay, hey, you didn't have to do that, or you didn't have to do this. But
we all have our faults.
Yeah, we all have our faults. So just because you don't get along with that person, or y'all aren't on the best of terms, like when I'm around my child, like with Dylan, you all know that I co-parent with Dylan. Me and Dylan's father do not argue. We don't come at each other in that way, or aggressively, especially in front of her. You're her father, I'm her mother. That is the relationship. The best advice I can give anybody is treat it like a business. Take your personal feelings out. If you hate them, you can hate them. Close the door, let them take their child, close the door, I'll call her. I can't stand this.
She will call me and vent.
Yeah, and just let it all out. But then when you see them, it's like, okay, yeah. Because you'll see your child, and your child had a good time. And that's what's important. Like,
as long as they're not harming the child in any way.
Like when my daughter comes home and she's super happy, I can't take that from her. Who am I to take that from her? So, you have to treat it like a business. This is what it is. These are the important things that we have to deal with. Let's take how we personally feel about each other out. You can hate me all day, badmouth me to whoever, but when we're dealing with our child, we need to deal with our child, deal with what the child needs. And then as far as like being like a single parent, like being a parent in general, you have to put yourself first, because if mommy's not good, baby's not going to be good. Like, I think that's the most, and that's the hardest thing to do.
And that's because, like, you have in the past been a single mom. What would you say to other single moms out there who find themselves struggling right now with that?
Don't stress. Don't stress it. One thing I had to learn with being a single mother was all I can do is what I can do. If I can't do it, then I can't do it. And there's no point in me stressing myself, killing myself over something that I'm just incapable of doing. So
it's out of your hands.
It's out of your hands. So you have to literally be like, if I can, I will. But if I can't, we'll have to figure something else out. Because if you don't, you're going to run yourself ragged, and that's not good for you or your child. And especially because you're by yourself and you don't have that extra person, it's even more important for you you have to be sane. So
sanity is important.
Sanity is important.
I definitely feel as though I've had my moments where I've lost my sanity or was on the brink of losing my sanity. I definitely agree with Leigh. I think overall with motherhood, you need to make yourself a priority. You need to have your sanity, because if you're not 100%, then you can't give 100% of yourself to your children, or to your relationship, or to your household. But what I also feel like I've learned and I'm trying to do now is make my relationship a priority.
Yes.
Because if it's important for you to maintain the relationship and maintain that family unit that you created with this person, then you have to make that a priority.
You do.
So I'm currently trying to do that. I think that's one of the things that Jared and I are working on is like our communication. Like I said, we've implemented the
No yelling.
gems from Will and Jada's Red Tabletop, because that's all important. A happy unit with your spouse then makes for happy children.
Yeah.
Like Mason, Jared and I were just saying, Mason is like, he glows and lights up when the four of us are together doing something.
Yeah.
He loves us to be together. He doesn't like if like I'm in one room, Jared's in another room, and he wants us all together doing things together.
Yeah.
And that's, as a parent, you love to see your child happy.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that brings him happiness, then you're going to work your ass off to make sure that you maintain that for them and for each other, because you were obviously got together for a reason.
And then that also brings on the point, like, there's going to come a day where your kids are going to grow up and leave.
And you're going to be left with each other.
It's going to be you two.
So I saw something on Instagram the other day. I think I tweeted it to you, Jared, and it said, never stop dating
Your spouse.
your spouse. Yeah. It was like something like never stop dating your wife and never stop
dating the person you're with.
Yeah, but pretty much the gist of it was never stop dating your spouse. And that's so true. You have to make time for each other outside of the children. And I think that was something that I've struggled with in the past that I'm trying to do now. Like we just went on our vacation like a month ago. Girl, we're ready for another one already.
I'm trying to plan something for our anniversary.
When's your anniversary?
March 11th.
Ours is coming up. Jared, you know what our anniversary is? You wanted my body. You couldn't resist me. You're like, oh my God.
Don't talk to me, don't talk to my blog thing. I'm telling you, I'm coming out there in my underwear in a second.
He had a little bit of a taste, and then I cut him off because he was acting, you know, he was bringing too much drama, and then he was like, no, gotta get her back. So that's when I need that in my life. I'm trying to do something for my birthday. That's when I think our next vacation is going to be my birthday week. Well, our birthday weekend.
February 19th.
We should do a couples trip.
Oh, that would be nice. If you guys have anything that you want to say, leave a comment down below on some parent advice if you have any. And to wrap up this video, thank you all so much for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. But thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned. We will be doing more collabs together.
Bye, guys.
Taking off my uniform and putting my clothes on, and as soon as I came out the back, he was like, please. What he said? What's the, you know, the same lines? The guys always be like, let's go watch a movie. Nigga, you don't want to watch a movie. Yeah. Then I remember when I got to his house, mind you, I was like, fine, whatever. We had already gone on a few dates. I was like, okay. So I go over there and he's just like, oh, you gotta take your dress off. I don't know, my maxi dress.
Dress off.
I said, what? He goes, I don't like outside clothes on my bed. You must have thought you had some stupid bride up in here. I said, oh, okay. I said, I just put this on, don't worry. I haven't worn this outside yet. I just put this on.
It's clean.
It's clean. He was so mad. Then he tried to get me, he was like, I'm gonna turn on this new show. It's called Power. I already watched it. I was like stopping him with all his moves weren't working. So then he turned on this show, Tyrant. Well, is that what it was called?